Hi guys, in the last video we went through few tips on how to build our CV, and first the strategy where we are creating profiles directly on the employer's website. If you haven't gone through that, I will suggest you to go through the first video in this list because that will help you in understanding what we are doing here. In this video, we are going to go through second strategy where we are using popular job portals like Naukri, Glassdoor, Indeed, etc. In fact, in this video, I will cover how to update your profile on these portals, and you can use same techniques to update your profile on employers' websites also, which I have covered in the last video because format is almost same. Okay, so in the last video, we have covered how to create our profile on the employer's website. Problem with that approach is that most popular and the bigger names in the industry, they receive probably millions of CVs, and it becomes very hard for HRs to comb through them, screen the candidates and call them for interviews because pre-screening is very important and something which takes a lot of time, especially when you are dealing with lots of CVs. So in those cases, HR outsource the job of pre-screening. They outsource it to external consultants who access to job aggregator sites like Naukri, Glassdoor or Indeed. And these external consultants use these sites to find out candidates who would be suitable for a given position. And yes, along with all these websites, you also need to have presence on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a career-based professional social networking site. So it's a kind of must for anybody who is looking for a job. So whether you are just coming out of college or have some experience, make sure that you do have presence on LinkedIn. Your profile is there and it is up to date with all the latest information. So in this video, we are going to focus on how to create our profile and how to update information on these job portals. And you can use same approach for updating information on employers' websites also because the format is same. And though I'm going to use Naukri.com, you can use any other site you like. So whatever site is more popular, I will say try to find out top 5 popular websites, job websites in your area, in your country, and then target all of them, not just one, because you never know which one will click for you. And all of these sites are free, so free to register, free to use. So you don't have to pay anything to anyone. They do offer premium services like resume building and few more services, but that's on you. Either you can take it or not take it. I don't think it makes a lot of difference. But yeah, if you want, you can try them. So feel free to use whatever site you want to use. As I mentioned, registration is free. So if you're not registered, go to these websites and then use registration option. I will just show you to register yourself. Let me log out. So when you open Naukri.com, this will be the landing page. So this is the option which we need to use. But there is one more option for employers. Make sure you don't log in using this option. This is for HR professionals, consultants who select candidate for these job openings. So we are going to use login, but before that you need to register with them. So it is free and easy to use navigation. So depending upon your experience level, you can select one option here and then it will guide you through the entire process. So after you have completed the registration and login, you will get a page something like this. Here you can search for jobs, skills based on location, experience. You can also specify salaries. I will suggest you to only target these two options like skills or designations, companies, whatever you want, along with the location. Experience is something which you can use, but never specify salary because salary is not always disclosed and sometimes you may lose important job openings just because you have set incorrect salary criteria here. So you can leave that. Primary target here is to update our profile so that we are getting calls from these consultants. So now you need to understand how it works. So basically right now we have logged in as a job seeker. So this is the search option we have where we can specify skills, location, experience and salary. When you log in as a HR guy or employer, then your search options are different. Let's say if you search for business analysis or machine learning, let's say this. And now if I just run, now this is going to pull data from India, but wherever you are, it will usually display all those job openings which are there for that given keyword. When employers search, let's say they search for business analyst, it will return all the profiles, all those candidates who are registered with this website with this given skill set. And that is very important to know. If you want to target this particular job, then you need to have this in your profile so that your profile is identified as someone with this particular skill set, and Naukri or any other website will return them in these results. But you need to optimize your profile so that you appear on the first page, because as I have said earlier, there could be probably millions of CVs if you are in a country like India, and even if you are somewhere in Europe or America, numbers would be lesser, but you can expect that there will be thousands of profiles on any popular job portals. So our objective here is to rank better for a given skill set, given experience. So that's why we need to be very careful when we are updating our profile. So now I will log in and I will show you how to update our profile. So when you log into Naukri or any other portal, you will have an option for update profile. Please remember, this location could be different. So in Naukri, this is in the right hand here. With some other website, it could be in some other location. So you need to find out this section where we have option to update our profile. So if I click on it, it will open this page. Here I can upload the resume and update all of these information. So now I will take you through the important sections. We need to start with resume headline here. This section is going to tell prospect employers about your unique skills and abilities. So you need to include your experience, certifications, or any other skills you might have. And you need to be specific. For example, I have mentioned R, Python, deep learning, machine learning, business analyst, product owner. So these are the keywords which employers are right now using to find guys like me. If you are a programmer, you can use something like Java, .NET, whatever programming language you are targeting. If you are a marketing professional, then you need to go at a granular level and mention terms which are closer or closest to your profile. Always mention your experience in this section because your experience is your biggest asset. So your employers need to know about it, and also about any other certification which you think add value to your CV. So always mention them here. If you are just coming from college, then you won't have experience, but you can still mention these skills or any certification or internship you might have done. So mention something like BTech or MS or MBA, followed by your specialization or anything you think should be there because that is relevant to your industry. If you are coming from some respected university like IITs or MITs, Stanford, IIM, then you should also mention the name of your institution because that will add a lot of value here. And try to avoid generic terms like I'm looking to excel or something like that. I have seen a lot of people use them, but trust me, employers don't care about that because they know probably you are copying and pasting from somewhere, and these things essentially means nothing. They are looking for a specific skill set, experience, so you need to be very specific here. Then we have key skills, and key skills is very important because as I have mentioned, your employers are using these skills to find out candidates. So we need to be very clear and to optimize our profile well so that we appear in the top. We need to make sure that we are using these terms in headline, in key skills, so that our profile is well optimized for a given keyword. Consistent presence of these keywords throughout our profile will help in better ranking. So when you use these skills repeatedly in multiple locations like headline, key skills, and then later on, These job portals believe that you are kind of expert and these skills are core activities of you. So they will treat you better, you will be placed higher in the ranking. To update your key skills, you can simply click on that pen icon and then you can type whatever your skill is. So if I type .NET, you will see that I will get all these suggestions. So whatever skills you have, most probably you will find that in these job portals. If you're not finding, then try to use some other terms, because if you use these terms which are already there in their database, then you will rank better instead of some manual keywords which you have created but it's not there in their system. So they won't read you, because remember, most of these portals are still just doing a keyword matching. They are not essentially doing some kind of artificial intelligence at a very high level where they can understand the context. So if you write business analysis and employer search for business analysis, it will return result. But if you just write business or business fundamental or some other term for this particular software, for this particular portal or any other portal in general, it means these two terms are different because it's simply matching them. So be very specific. Try to use something which is already there on these portals. And I think you will find most of the common skills on these portals. So try to use something which is already there on these websites. And as I have mentioned in the last video, don't fake it. Only mention those skills which you already have. If you want something and you don't have it, it's better to learn it and then update. If you are in the learning phase, let's say you are doing some course on business analysis or machine learning, then you can include them here. But if you don't have any clue about these things, please do not mention them, because then you will get call on those terms. You will fail in the interview and then you won't be able to reapply to those companies for a specified time, maybe 3 months or 6 months. So it doesn't add any value. It's kind of bad. It's kind of wrong. So don't do that. Then you have employment section where you can simply update your employment related data. Try to include highlights of your profile, like what you do. So if you perform data science related job, mention specific technologies like regression, random forest, and Python, R, whatever technology you are using, whatever models you are developing. If you are doing business analysis, then mention BRDs, user stories, things like that. So whatever you are doing, try to capture the details at the granular level here, because that will provide a lot of information to your prospective employers. If you are fresher, then maybe you don't have much of information here, but you can include your internship or training program here. So if you have something like that, please include here. Then mention your education, what you have done. You can also include any ongoing courses. So include that here. Then on Naukri, you have this IT skill, but with other portals, you may or may not have something like this. So don't worry about it. If you have a section like this, it is similar to skills here. It's just that here they are talking specifically about IT skills. So you can include them. So you can mention their names. If something like version is applicable to it, then last used and the overall experience you have with that technology, with that skill. So update it accordingly. Then you have a section for projects, include projects detail here, and again similar to this section, employment, try to include information at the granular level, but make sure you're not disclosing any confidential data. So, but other than that, try to include whatever information you can include here, like software development, programming, technical analysis, testing, business analysis, whatever you have done, try to include it here. Then you will have a profile summary. Again, mention high level overview of your profile, what you do, what you have done. And when you say profile summary, it's not just hard activities or hard skill. You should also include soft skills like client management, client interaction, stakeholder management. So even if you're a programmer or HR guy, you can still include them. So always include soft skills here. That is going to add a lot of value to your CV. And then there is a section for accomplishment. You can list down all those things here. So as you can see, there is an option to add your LinkedIn profile here. So please create your LinkedIn profile and add it here. If you have a blog or a website, you can mention that here. If you have any other machine learning portfolio or anything else, you can simply include those links here and mention their details. So if I click on this add, I can add the name, URL, and a description. So always add these things. They are kind of additional, but will add a lot of value to your profile. And then there are white paper, work samples, or any presentations you might have created, and even better if you have a patent. So include these details here. Then you have a section for certifications, so you can add certifications here. Make sure you add all the relevant certifications. Sometimes there is a limit, so you need to prioritize and only mention important ones here. And then there will be details about the desired career profile. So if you have any preferences about location, shift, all those kind of things, industries you are targeting, you can use this option to update your profile. So it's a very good option to narrow down the search, and always update it because employers can use it in their filtration. So you need to make sure that you are getting calls from employers. And then you have personal information, again generic information, but it's better to update it. Language is again very important, and for language it's always more the merrier. So if you know Hindi, English, Tamil, Telugu, French, German, whatever language you know, always mention them. You never know what could help you. So always mention it. So as you can see, the profile is more or less, the process itself is quite simple, but you have to be careful with the information you enter here. And as I have mentioned in the last video, you need to update these profiles quite regularly. If you are really looking for a job, then I will suggest you to make these changes at least weekly. So for first time you create your profile, or if you had a profile but you haven't updated it for a while now, so now if you go back to this site or any other site and make some updates, it will take maybe 4 to 6 weeks before you will see any visible result. But after that, keep updating it every week. If you are updating it constantly, like every week, then over a period of 2 to 3 months, you will realize that you are getting a lot of emails, a lot of calls from these job consultants, and a lot of time from these companies, because they use these websites all the time. But inactive profiles are at a very lower end in these search results. So the only way to qualify in the top ranking is to update your profile with correct skills and then update it constantly. Now you will wonder what to update. Maybe you can just come here, remove some existing skill and add a new one. Make sure you are removing a less relevant one and adding a more relevant one, or equally less important. If you are a working professional, every month you can update your experience. So if nothing else, maybe you can come to your employment section here and update something here. Then next week you can come to project section and update something here. So when you keep updating these websites, they will assume that you are actively looking for a job, and that's how they will place you higher in the ranking. And over a period of 4 to 6 months, you will see a visible difference in the number of calls you receive for jobs, number of emails you receive for jobs. So if you are struggling right now, you're not getting enough calls, you need to, search manually for these jobs, apply for them, and then you don't receive any feedback for these applications. I think if you go with this strategy where you update your profile correctly and constantly update your information, I think you will get better results. If you have any question, please leave your comment. I will try my best to help you. So that's it for now. Thank you.